Super Bowl appreciation, part 3 of the Super Bowl 25. Now, part 2, I was right in the middle, and all of a sudden my phone said, nope, can't go any further. You're out of time. You're out of ability to record. I don't know what, low tech. But either way, I was right in the middle of this play that I'll show it again. The Buffalo Bills are desperately trying to get into field goal range. They're down 20-19. There's only 48 seconds, as you see right there. They have no timeouts remaining. They just used their last timeout. I misspoke at the end of part 2 when I said that Kelly said they were targeting the 25. Kelly said they were targeting the 30. But as I've shown a few times, a few different stats, Scott Norwood had never hit a 47-yarder on grass. He had never hit a 50-yarder ever. So again, we're not talking about a kicker with long range, not like the kickers nowadays. Scott Norwood did not have the range. And as Dan Dierdorf correctly said, they had to have been targeting at least the 25, get within a good 42-yard field goal. At this point, you would think the Giants have to play. They cannot be playing, look, give them a few yards and then we'll tackle them. Although, since they have no timeouts, any play over the middle will make the clock run, obviously, and therefore maybe they could give a 5-yarder, 10-yarder. But again, Giants, obviously, now they're only 20 yards from field goal range. This is intense. This is Super Bowl 25. This is great offense, Buffalo, against great defense, Giants. And it was a classic. There's been no turnovers to this point. Let's go over this play again. Again, I said that on the last S.A.L.T production of Super Bowl appreciation that I didn't want to spend much time on this, and I'm not going to make a big deal of it. The complete to McKellar. That's another 6 yards. So again, that doesn't kill the Giants because the clock is really running. And now they blow the whistle, and they correctly waited because since they know if they blow the whistle for a review before they get up to the line, that's not fair to the Giants. That would save Buffalo precious time. This is the amount of time anyway it would have taken for Buffalo to get to the line if it's complete. So if it's complete, they'll leave it there and leave the time off correctly. If it's incomplete, they will say, please put back on the clock, and they'll put back the extra 5 seconds they just waited, and they'll put the time that it was when it was incomplete. Now you'll see in a second it's very easy to tell that it was complete, but the only reason they probably, Dierdorf is able to explain very well, and Dierdorf had a great game calling it along with Al Michaels and Frank Gifford on ABC, but you'll see why they thought it might have not been incomplete.
Let's take a look at it.
Here comes McKellar across. Watch what happens.
He does a nice job of scooping this ball out.
It hit the foot and popped up. Because it hit the foot, that may have looked like it hit the ground.
I saw the ball pop up a little bit, but what it did, it hit McKellar's lower leg and his foot.
That's what Dan Dierdorf caught that. So the play will stand. That did, Gifford, listen what Gifford says. Good point.
You need to be in the instant replay booth when you get a look like that. That did give the Giants pass rush a little breather.
Yeah, that did give the pass rush a little breather. Remember, we saw Eric Howard gassed and went out. Eric Howard ended up not coming back in, but that does give the Giants a little bit, at the end of a game, the defense usually is sucking for air more than the offense. Offense has been doing the blocking. The defense is the one getting blocked and trying to make the tackles. And a few seconds of rest probably is important at this point, especially with the no-huddle red gun offense that Jim Kelly runs all the time, the whole game. Giants running always back to the line to get ready for the next play. All right, 26 seconds. Now I'm going to show an unsung tackle. An unsung tackle, if there is such a thing, an unsung tackle. In this play, they will only have time for one more because it's going to stay in bounds, and then they'll have to spike it and go for the field goal. They're at the 40. They need still at least 10 to have a possible field goal. How do they get 10 yards? Nice call here, I believe, by Kelly and the Bills. They call that they should have done more often, and that is run Thurman Thomas. Remember, the Giants went with the 2-3-6, daring Thomas to run, and here they're taking advantage of that. You'll also notice that Lawrence Taylor blitzed himself out of the play. He came up and now is not going to be able to catch Thurman there. And let me go back and show you that also one other defender did the same thing here. Look at the nervous Marv Levy. Been coaching for 40 years and trying to win his first Super Bowl. But let me show you, I think it's a good call to go with Thomas. And no, I don't think I wouldn't say that Carl Banks ran himself out of the play. He just got caught in the middle, Carl Banks. Right there, Carl Banks in the middle. So he's not going to be able to make this play as Thomas gets to the outside. Now, but here comes the unsung tackle. Yeah, you ever heard of an unsung tackle? Watch this. I'll show you an unsung tackle. Now look, he could get, again, this is Banks and Taylor behind the play. They're not making the play. That guy right there, that is Mark Collins. Mark Collins could make this play, but only if he's smart enough to not try to stand in front of Thomas. Amazingly, standing in front of Thomas, which we think is more logical, if you want to make a tackle, you stand in front of the guy, would not be correct because there's somebody blocking him, in which case Thomas could, first of all, Collins get knocked on his, on his body, knocked down onto the ground, won't be able to make the tackle. Also, Thomas could slow it up and slowly, wait for the blocker to block left, let's say, and then Thomas would go right, or wait for the blocker to block right, and Thomas would go left. So the smart thing Collins does is he goes to the side, which forces the guy who's blocking him to go to the side. Let Thomas actually go by a little bit. Again, that's the safest way to make the tackle here. You have no guarantee if you stand in front of him, you're going to make any tackle there. So when I have to stand to the side, let Thomas come up past the blocker. Yeah, that passes his own blocker. And then Collins can make the tackle. Watch it. Here we go. I think you're seeing all that action. Low tech, but you're seeing it. Oh, you see that? Now 85, who's I think Al Edwards is his name, was the third or fourth receiver for the Bills. Now is not blocking Collins anymore, and Thurman can be taken down on a great tackle here by, I call it a great tackle, by Mark Collins. But it's at the 30 now. That's the thing. It's at the 30. Because it's inbounds, that's another thing. Collins went to the side, making Thurman go up the field. It's inbounds now at 18, 17. They're going to have to spike it. And let's see how much time is left after the spike. 8 seconds left. 8 seconds left. And here comes Scott. Now, they do not have time to run another play and try a quick 7-yard pass and get out of bounds. Really taking a risk that time will run out. Although, now that I say take a risk, I do have a play that no one would in their greatest dreams thought of that I think Buffalo could have tried, and I'll tell you that in a second. But first, let me do that. Let me tell you what play they could have tried here. The kick is from the right hash mark. They could have snapped the ball to the holder. The holder's holding it. Then Norwood runs by and doesn't kick it. The holder then sprints for the left sideline. Remember, they're on the right hash mark. Sprint for the left sideline, or if you want to really be safe, okay, sprint for the right sideline, which is closer. But I think he has enough time to sprint for the left sideline, gain a yard or two, which makes it from a 47 to a 45. Every yard counts. Maybe even get to the 44 or 43. Make it even get 3 or 4 yards gain to make it a 43 or 44 yard field goal. Again, every yard counts. And it also would move it to the left hash mark. See, a kick from the right hash mark, I believe, is a little harder for a kicker. Again, maybe all kickers are different. But from a long kick, for a guy who's never kicked a long one, he's going to have to, Norwood's not only going to have to hit it long, he's going to have to hook it. So I'll tell you soon my theory on why it went wide right. But I may have been bold to try that sprint to the left side. Nobody's expecting that. And it takes less than 7 seconds to get to the sideline. It should take them 5. There'll be 2 seconds left, and you'll be 3, or maybe 2, 3, 4 yards closer, and on the left hash mark instead of the right. All right, that's my bold, gutsy move of the century. But they can't take a chance. Kelly off the field. Here comes Scott Norwood. What do you mean? They know what it is to live this from the other end. What does that mean? Last The week before, remember there was, by the way, there was only 1 week between championship and Super Bowl. One of the rare times they only had 1 week. And it was also played under time of war. Gulf War was then. That's why it was a very patriotic time, and everyone waving their American flag. Tears during the beautiful rendition of the Star Spangled Banner. And there was only 1 week between. And the week before, the Giants had kicked a game-winning field goal in the last second, beating San Francisco in a classic game, 15-13. I should really cover that. That'll be a SALT production one day. Just go through that game. That's one of my favorite. I've seen that game 10 to 15 times at least. And the last drive at least 25, 30 times. That Hostetler drive, wow. Anyway, what was I saying is that now it's the Giants helping for a missed field goal. Last week they had to make a field goal in the championship game. Now in the Super Bowl they have to hope the other team misses the field goal. And they're going to free old psychological tactic of freezing the kicker. Frank Reich, the holder, the famous backup quarterback of the Buffalo. Was there Jim O'Brien, was there a Super Bowl ever that ended on a kick? Yes, Super Bowl 5. Jim O'Brien kicking the game winner for Baltimore to beat Dallas. That game was tied 13-13. And the winner made it 16-13. Here, Buffalo's behind. And it's the first Super Bowl that the kick will determine the winner. A miss and the Giants win. A win and the Buffalo win. You think they'll bring up can they get a clip of O'Brien? There it is, Super Bowl 5. He said he'd be impressed if they bring it, and they brought it up. Now this kick looks like it's a short kick. It was a 30. For some reason the posts were put over there. That's something wrong with that camera there. But there's Jim O'Brien jumping for joy. He wasn't that good a kicker. They really had problems. He had problems kicking that year, but he hit that one. And there's back to some prayer. Back to some prayer. They prayed last week, and Matt Barnes was good. Now they're praying for a miss. Here we go, 47 yards. The drama's building with every second. Can you feel the drama, even though you know what happened from 25 years ago? We're up to Super Bowl 50. This is 25 years ago. The Super Bowl going down to the final kick. Will the Giants hold on? Norwood is ready. The snap. The kick. Wide right. No good. Smiley. So even Parcells won't celebrate yet. He says, you got to take a knee. There's still time left. Pepper Johnson hugging Bill Parcells. Marv Levy can't believe it. Leonard Marshall, a happy man. Jim Kelly not. Lawrence Taylor, his hand in the air. Steve Diassi filming it.
There's still 4 seconds on the clock.
Still 4 seconds on the clock. All right, let me tell you what happened there. I believe that, again, he had not kicked ever a field goal that long. So he said, I'm just going to hit it hard. I'm not going to try to pull it. Because if you pull it and you hit it hard and you're trying for a long for him, again, a long field goal, you could shank it and just hit a squib left. Like, when they pull it left and it just goes very embarrassingly to the left. That's embarrassing. Now, I'm not saying he's put his own embarrassment, his own feeling of I might end up looking bad ahead of the team. A good strategy is also to hit it hard and straight and just hope that it hooks a little bit. That's what he tried. It just never hooked, and it stayed wide right, 2 feet to the right. The Giants win by 2 feet. But again, that's not lucky. He's never hit a field goal that long on grass. The Giants dominated the game with 40 yards of run, right? And they held Buffalo. They knocked the heck out of the Buffalo receivers. Giants win it 20-19. Let me pause and get my thoughts together for that last 25 seconds. It's up to that 15-minute mark. Quick, amazing point, right off the kick. Watch 29 right here. Jump. Did you see Myron? I think it's Myron Guyton. Jump. You're not allowed to jump off the line of scrimmage. Imagine if they would have called that penalty. That would have been unbelievable. For jumping off the line of scrimmage. Oh my gosh. Famous highlight of it going wide right. to show that.
A victory over the
And Bill running off with holding Lawrence Taylor, the greatest defender ever. And there's Jeff Hostetler, a backup, coming out of nowhere to win. There they are, Bill and LT. That's a SALT production on Super Bowl 25.